What's going on, guys? It's Orangey, and Monster Hunter is finally out. And I know there's a bunch of new players because I'm a new player. This is my first game in the series, and I'm new. And there's some things that this game doesn't tell you. And if the game does tell you something, and it's only scratching the surface because this game is way more in-depth than like it appears to be. And one of these things that we're going over in this quick video is the Monster Field Guide. So if you're just naturally progressing through story, which you should, because story is linked to everything. Everything in this game is interwoven through story. Talking to people that play Monster Hunter, like, you know, religiously, Monster Hunter's never been like this. It's never been interwoven with story like this game is. It's kind of like catching people off guard because they just want to get straight into the hunting, but you know, you have to do story, which I like. I'm not that far because I've been just trying to like make videos for you guys, and I'm trying to get far, but you know, we're not here for that. We're here for the Monster Field Guide. This thing is going to help you out so much. Every monster that you encounter in the game is going to be logged into this field guide. From the large monsters to the small to the endemic life and to the aquatic life. So first, let's jump into the main part, is the large monsters. These are all of the monsters that I've seen so far and hunted. And actually, I believe they are in order. This isn't spoilers because I'm still like in the first chapter. I guess it's like minor spoilers because it is in order. But let's go over the Chotacabra first as a baseline. So I've hunted 3 of these, and what is he weak to? Well, it shows you that his tongue is his weak point, and his forelegs are breakable. 2 times, by the way. So that's each one of his legs, his right and his left. And if you read the helpful hints that's at the bottom, it's giving you some very invaluable information. So let's just read a little bit of the hints. The Chatacabra's soft tongue is the place to strike, looking for openings in their attacks when they become tired. So when they become tired, their tongue will become a weak point. And the next sentence, destroying ore stuck to their forearms or forelimbs will leave them open to an attack. So hitting the arms and breaking them was really valuable to like do so much damage to this Chatacabra. But if you press triangle on this page, it goes to everything, or I should say every part in his body. So for the head, he is weak to slashing attacks, blunt attacks, and piercing attacks. So meaning like bow guns and bows. And he takes like, you know, base damage from water, fire, and ice, but he does take a little bit more damage to lightning or electricity. And that's not to get confused with paralysis. Paralysis is a status effect that's on a weapon that can, like, if you hit a monster over time, it will give them paralysis. And that is different from electricity element. But also you can see his tongue is also weak to everything. His torso, you know, it's kind of medium. It's still taking damage. His right foreleg and his left foreleg, extremely vulnerable. And his back legs, you know, not as vulnerable, but it's still up there. Same with his butt. But also you see when we're scrolling down, we're seeing the X's more. So he takes no damage from fire and water on his hind legs. And for every part of his body, he does not take damage to dragon damage. Dragon damage is also an element that you can apply on your weapons, like later on in the game. So if we go to the next page, it also shows you the recommended elements that you can use. So it's ice and thunder. So weapons with ice and thunder are going to be very vulnerable taking down a Chatacabra. And do you need to plan out to, like, you know, take down a Chatacabra this in depth? No, I'm just using him as a baseline for every other monster. This is paralysis. This is what people get mixed up with thunder. They have very similar icons, but if you see paralysis as 2 little lightnings instead of thunder, which only has 1, and it's like thicker. But he is also weak to paralysis. And these are his affected items. You know, he can get flashed, he can get put in a shock trap or a pitfall trap, but you cannot use sonic bombs on him and they will not work. And if we go to the next page, you see what the Chatacabra drops when you're fighting him or carving him after like the hunt is done, or capturing him like later on you get into the game. So the Chatacabra shell, if you look at the percentages, it's a 100% chance to get this item if you break his right leg and his left leg. And then the percentages go down the more stars it has, the higher frequency you see it appearing. The low star it has, like you see this has 1 star, it has an 8% chance of getting it as a target reward. So that means after the hunt is already done. So you get the Chatacabra jaw, you can get it from 23% chance from carving him, so you have 3 chances to get it, or 4 if you have a certain buff, or after the hunt is done, you get a 23% chance to get it. And then the last page is some unlockable titles. If you hunt like 50 of these, you get the slimy title, 40 you get sticky, 30 you get lick, and then 20 you get Chatacabra. Same with any other monsters. You get titles, special titles if you hunt a bunch of them. But let's go over this X one more time. So he is immune to sonic bombs, but Balahara over here is not immune to sonic bombs, but it has a little star on it, so there's a condition. Sonic bombs are only effective if he's burrowing in the sand. If he's out of the sand, it will not affect him. Since we're here on Balahara, we can see what he's weak to. So water does not affect him at all on any part of his body. You can see the head is breakable, his weak point is his mouth, and his tail is severable. You can cut off his tail and carve it separately. His head and neck are really weak to blunt attacks, and it looks like the rest is like medium to moderate damage on any other weapon. And it also looks like he is weak to the thunder element. So if you go to the next page, yep, it shows recommended elemental attacks, thunder. These are the status effects that he is weak to. You can paralyze him, you can put him under poison, sleep. He's effective to all of these, shock and pitfall trap, and these are his materials. He has a little bit more materials than all of the other monsters so far. So this is a really rare material. There's only an 8% chance to get it from like after the hunt. But if you break his head, you get a 20% chance. If you destroy wounds, there's a 5% chance every wound you destroy. And for carving, there's an 11% chance. So just look over all of these and just see what you need, like for if you're trying to make a weapon or some armor for like monsters in the future. Come here to the monster field guide and it will tell you everything you need to know. All you gotta do is just sit down and read through these things. The game basically tells you how to do it and what to do. So next is the small monster field guide. This is just this, it's the same as the large one. It gives you some little characteristics, but it also gives you what materials you can get from these monsters. And that's if you've already killed a monster and carved it. So from Paragil, these are the items that you can get from killing a Paragil and carving it. Same with this Bulachi. I've seen the Baranos, but I haven't actually killed it. So you see, it's telling me it's unknown. I've slain 0 and I haven't carved it, so it's not gonna tell me what I get from it. So every time you see a small monster, go kill it once or twice, just so you can see what gear or what stuff you can get from it, because sometimes you need these for making armor and weapons. And it's very valuable. Next is the endemic life. These are the even little small monsters that you collect with your net. If you don't have your net, progress more in story and it'll tell you how to use it. So some of these you obtain no materials, but some special rare ones like the leaf lugger ant, if you collect them, it gives you a mega potion or a max potion. After that is the aquatic life. You get more items from these fish, like you get a bomb arana scale. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. For this, you get a burst scale, a wetfish fin from the actual wetfish. So what this does, it sharpens your weapon in one go. These are very good to have if you need to sharpen your weapon on the go. But I mean, you have secret, so you really don't need them. And you can just click it and it tells you what it does. Like from this fish, you can eat its scales and it gives you a boost and it prevents bleeding, or helps you treat bleeding, sorry. So for these fish, you can make ammo from them. You can make sticky ammo from these scales and you make slicing ammo from these scales. And yeah, that's just a brief overview of the monster field guide. If you already know how to use this guide, then great. This is for new players like myself that really didn't know this coming into Monster Hunter. And the monster guide will be even more valuable over time as you hunt bigger monsters with better rewards and lower drop rates, so you can see, oh, I gotta break this part to get this reward, and if I sever this tail and cut it, I have a higher chance of getting blank, blank, blank. The monster field guide will tell you everything you need to know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next Monster Hunter video.